Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. My name is Skylar Toon, and today I'm going to be going over the patch notes for the Bazaar Patch 15.0. This is my first time ever recording a video for YouTube relating to the Bazaar, so if you have any feedback or comments, suggestions, tips, anything like that, please comment them below. A little bit about me. I am a longtime Bazaar player. I have been playing since I think maybe since just before Mac came out. So I have well over 1,000 hours between the Temple launcher and the Steam version. This is going to just kind of be a reactionary patch notes video. I'm kind of going over the patch notes as I kind of get a feel for how I want to start recording these videos. I do stream the Bazaar now over at twitch.tv/SkylarToon. And yeah, with that, let's kind of just get into the patch notes here. So I have kind of glanced over these before, but I'm still going to read this as if, not as if, it basically is me like going into detail. I had to, some of the stuff, I played about 4 games in the new patch. So like I said, I was kind of, when I got a new encounter, I would look under the patch notes to see what it was, etc. So some of them I know, some of them I don't, most of them I don't. But yeah, let's kind of get into it here. So I'm gonna skip over most of this stuff. Actually, let's make this big screen. Whoops, not that button. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna skip over this stuff here because it's a lot of just seasonal stuff. And onto the new items. So the reroll token is a diamond tier item. When you sell this, reroll. Yeah, okay. So I have used this one. This is if you sell it, it just rerolls your daily encounters, which I think is really cool. It's not the item I use, though. There's another item that scaled money or income or something like that, and it also rerolled the encounters. But new dually item, Rampage module, small tech, silver tier. When you slow, poison, or freeze, adjacent gains scaling damage or burn. Okay. I like the artwork on that one. Jewels. Laurel's bouncy ball, small toy, gold tier, 3-second cooldown, haste two other items for 1 to 2 seconds. When this hastes an adjacent item, charge this. When this hastes an adjacent item, charge this 1 second. Okay. Oh, that's kind of awkward, isn't it? Haste 2 other items, so it doesn't haste 2 other items for 1 to 2 seconds. When this haste an adjacent item, charges 1 second. A little awkward to use, I'd say. I do not like playing jewels. I'm not a jewels enjoyer, so I don't know if this is good or not. Seems a little awkward to play. Karnak, Caracal, small weapon friend, bronze tier, 5-second cooldown. This is okay, so I'll just read it. So the deal scaling damage for each type it has. It also hastes a small item for 1 second, and at the start of each day, it gains a weapon type. Not a weapon type, just a random type. Yeah, I remember reading this part of this and thinking that as a dually enjoyer, yeah, being able to get potentially a core or a ray or something like that, pretty cool, because Karnak doesn't have too many items like that. Actually, no, he does, between like the sled and then the other item. Yeah, pretty cool. Mac Wind Dragon. So I did encounter this one. I played 2 Mac games and 2 dually games. I didn't get a chance to use this one, but so this is a medium weapon dragon friend, silver tier, 5-4-3 second cooldown. An item starts flying, and then when you use a dragon or flying item, you haste that particular item that you used for 1 second, and then you deal damage. So if you can find a way to scale the damage on this, it'll kind of act like a pseudo. Is it a hoverboard? I think on Vanessa. I think it's what the item is called. Kind of similar idea where when you use it, you haste that item, but you also deal damage from the Wind Dragon. So pretty cool. Pygmalion Fountain, medium aquatic property, silver tier, 4 seconds. Slow 1, 2, or 3 items for 2 seconds, and then charge your heal and regen items 1 second. Interesting. I feel like Pygmalion doesn't have a ton of slow items, so not sure how I feel about that. But the charge your heal and regen elements, that could be kind of scary. We'll see. Alright, Stell, Atlas. Silver tier, when you fight a monster that's permanently gains value. Oh, it's a quest item. Visit a gold tier encounter. And then when you sell this, you get 2 loot items. Okay. Visit a diamond tier encounter. When you sell this, gain 2 experience. Visit a legendary tier encounter. When you sell this, get a small or medium legendary item. Seems pretty good. Good econ. The compass I played with because it is a... Well, let's go over it first. So, small tool, bronze tier. When you visit a non-merchant or a non-monster, you permanently gain value. And then when you sell this, you re-roll the hourly encounter. So this is in one of the day 2 or 3 monsters that I got when I was playing dually. And it was really cool. So it's just passively gains income each time you visit a non-merchant, and then whenever you want to re-roll all your encounters, kind of similar to the re-roll token here. It re-rolls your encounters, so pretty cool. And then Drone Crusher, medium vehicle tools, silver tier, 4-second cooldown. Use and destroy adjacent small drones. When your items are destroyed, transform them into small drones and burn for 812. Your drones have their cooldowns reduced by half a second, 1 second, 1.5 seconds. Use and destroy small drones. Kind of reminds me of the recycling bin from Mac for potions, but it says use and destroy adjacent small drones when your items are destroyed. I maybe have to play Stell a bit more this season, because yeah, she's got some really cool new items over the past couple of patches, and I haven't played her really since she came out. So to give you some context, I primarily play Mac and dually. Those are kind of my go-to. And then I think in terms of most played, dually, Mac, Karnak, Vanessa, and then Pygmalion, Stell, and Jules, they all kind of sit. I did used to play a lot of Stell when she first came out, but I don't really play those 3. Vanessa, Barnacuda, small aquatic friend, bronze tier, 2-second cooldown. Oh, it's only got 2 ammo. Burn 2, 4, 6, 8, and then haste an adjacent item for 1 second. Seems not really that interested in that. Alright, new skills. Common, shared. Scavenger. When you level up, you get a small item from another hero. Okay. Burning Blade. First 4/8 times use a weapon each fight. Charge a burn item. Okay. Merchant Club. When you visit a merchant, a random item costs less gold. Okay, good econ. Poison Flame. When you poison, your burn items gain burn. Okay. Poison. When you poison, your weapons gain damage. Defender's Flame. When you shield, your items gain scaling burn. Defender's Toxin. When you shield, your items gain scaling poison. Okay. When you use an item, an ammo item, your items gain scaling poison. A lot of scaling right there. Okay. New dually skills. Cooldown of your tech items reduced by 5-10%. Pretty uninspired, but sure. Data transfer. When you use tech item, adjacent items gain scaling damage, heal, and shield. Okay, could be useful. When you use a tech item, adjacent items gain scaling, damage, shield, and heal. Okay. New jewel skills. Catch of the day. Your items have 2-4-6% crit chance for each food or aquatic item you have. I didn't know jewels had aquatic items, but okay. Again, I don't play jewels, so the more you know. First time, use a food each fight. Haste 1, 2, or 3 tools for 2 seconds. First time, use a food each fight. Haste tools for 2 seconds. Okay. New Karnak skills. When you become enraged, your burn items gain scaling burn. When you become enraged, your poison items gain scaling poison. When you become enraged, your weapons gain scaling damage. Okay, pretty cool. More scaling. Suppressing fire. The first 3/6 times you use an ammo item each fight, an enemy item has its cooldown increased by 5%. That seems pretty cool. I haven't played Karnak in a patch or two, so I don't know how his item... Oh my gosh, his ammo items are scaling right now, so that could be cool. I'll have to maybe play around with that. New max skills. When you buy... Yeah, so I ran into this one, the catalytic converter. When you buy or upgrade a skill, get a catalyst. It was fine. It was kind of towards the end of the run when I found it, so I didn't really get to kind of utilize it effectively. Ancient weapons. When you use a relic, your weapons gain scaling damage for the fight. Could be good on, like, Primal Core or something like that. New Pygmalion skill, Snowbite. The first 4/8 times you use a toy, charge a freeze. The first 4 to 8 times you use a toy, charge a burn. Okay, a little bit of charging. I feel like Pygmalion toys are kind of like on the lower end from what I've seen, but I could be wrong there. And even more scaling for the skills on Vanessa. When you use a vehicle or drone, your items gain scaling damage. Vehicle drone, your items gain scaling burn. Vehicle drone, your items gain scaling shield. Okay. And then this one I saw in the subreddit, people were not sure. I don't know what tier these skills start at, so I really hope this is a diamond tier skill, but I guess we'll find out. Execute. The first time your opponent falls below 20% max health, deal 9,999 damage. The first time your opponent falls below their 20% max HP. Okay, so it's a big fuck you button right as they're about to die. It's just a win more button basically. All right, I'm gonna pause the video here, go get a drink, and then we're gonna talk about the encounters, because the encounters I have done a little bit of research on, and they might take a little bit of explanation. So I will be right back. All right, I'm back. I got a drink. Clear my throat. Here we go. So, new encounters. So, the Apothecary I actually had to make a little sticky note about. So, the Apothecary is a day 3 onwards encounter, gold tier, and it buffs defensive items. Now, it is similar to the encounter that increases, or you can increase your damage, poison, and burn. And then you can pay gold and enhance those stats. This Apothecary is very similar, and I've wrote it down here. So when I encountered it, it said it gives +5 shield to all items, +5 heal to all items, +1 regen to all items, and then if you pay 10 gold, the other one is pay 15 gold for the damage, poison, and burn, but this one is +10 gold, or pay 10 gold. And it gives everything +10 shield, +10 heal, and then +2 regen to all items. So I thought it was pretty good. I was playing Mac, and I did it twice with regen, so pretty cool. The drone operator is a new fight. I had the if you go to the Bazaar DB has the new monster with the items on it that he has. Seemed okay. It didn't seem too difficult to beat, but he has a gold tier. Standard 3 experience, 4 gold fight for gold tier. So Fari is a new encounter as well, and this is probably my favorite encounter that I haven't seen yet, personally. It's a day 2 onwards encounter. And what it does is whenever you click into it, you're given a bunch of random packages. I don't know if there's any large ones, but the ones that I've seen have definitely been small and medium, and they can range from silver or gold. And basically, when you hover over them, it says what vendor the package belongs to. So in the picture that I saw, I think it was Ayla. And if you select that package, it goes into your stash. And then whenever you visit the vendor, you can sell that package to Ayla. And I think you get some experience, and then you get a small item based on the tier of the package. So literally, like you do feel like a delivery driver. So you pick the package or the vendor that you want to visit, and then you kind of hold it in your inventory, and then whenever you see that vendor, you visit them, sell the package. Really, really cool. Really thematic. I actually really liked it, so I'm looking forward to kind of playing around with that. The library one was also on the subreddit, and this was a very interesting kind of unique. It has a hidden encounter in it, basically, is what makes it a little bit more unique. So it's very basic on the surface. When the one time that I did it, when you click into it, you are given a two options. You can either take a random skill from any class, or if you pay, I think it's either 10 or 15 gold, you get a choice of the 3 vendors. Kind of similar to when you level up. You can pick from like the burn skills, the poison skills, the haste and slow skills, etc. You're given an option to kind of narrow it down again. So pretty cool. Somebody was saying on the subreddit, if you have 3 burn items, and I don't know if it's on your board or on your board and in your stash, I would imagine it would be kind of both, because you could just place it on your board and then it would work. But basically, if you have 3 burn items, you can choose to burn down the library. And I think someone said that it gives you +2 burn to all your items. You get like 1 or 2 experience, and then you get a skill called like the arsonist or something like that. So you literally burn down the library. And the next time, I think what happens is if you get the library again and you click into it, you're given the option to, because you've burned down the library, you basically get a bunch of burn loot. Or the picture that I saw, there was 4 different loots. I think he got a silver burn loot, and then 2 gold burn loots, and then one of the shield loots. So pretty cool, especially if you're looking for a Hordes burn build. Might be something to kind of keep an eye on. Again, it's one of those hidden encounters, so do with that with what you will. Gunpowder Cache. Haven't seen this one yet. Gunpowder Cache. All day silver tier. Karnak, Mac, and Vanessa. Get a gunpowder. Okay, so you just get a gunpowder based on what? Based on your level? Like, is it always silver tier, or if you like get this on day 9, do you have a chance to get like a gold gunpowder? I'm assuming that's how it would work. For Karnak, Mac, and Vanessa. Okay. Moonlit Meadow, silver tier, Jules and Mac get a moon lily. That's so that's the permanent regen based on the tier. So maybe these are similar to like when you get when it says like get a shield loot. If you click on that on day 11, you have a chance to have a higher tier loot. Maybe. I'm assuming. I don't know. Okay. Encounters. Random spawns, aimbot. I don't know what without seeing the actual item itself, it's kind of hard to visualize these. Jungle Ruins changed from day 1 and 2 to day 1 through 3. That's kind of cool. Swap the day assignments. Overbearing teacher and overbearing. Okay, so the student, and I always got these 2, the overbearing teacher and the overwhelmed student. I always got them mixed up. When you see them on day 3 and 4, I keep thinking, it's like, did the game bug, or is it giving me the same encounter? So I swapped the day assignments to these 3 to 4 from 3. Okay, sure. Preening Duelist gained a reroll token. Okay, so that's one of the fights. In place of gunpowder. Really? That's kind of interesting. I feel like the gunpowder on the Duelist was quite good. Retiree. Okay, this one I like because I think the med kit was kind of silly on the retiree. I don't think very many people used it unless you were like Pygmalion. So the reroll token is kind of nice. And then the strange mushroom. Okay, so the jungle ruins, the strange mushroom, and the tiny furry monster, they move from day 1 and 2 to basically have them appear from days 1 to 3. So that's kind of nice. Okay. And then the tester. What was the tester again? I don't remember what the tester was. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Common skills. Correcting an issue. Again, without... I wish they would show the skills, like, what they did, and then, like, what they do now, or what they corrected. So a lot of these, I don't know without seeing what the skills do. And I'm not about to go start looking them up, because otherwise this video would take... This will be like a 2-hour-long video. Diamond Fangs. Everybody knows Diamond Fangs, right? Diamond Fangs now starts at gold tier. Oh! So it starts at gold tier now. No real reason for this to start at bronze tier, given it only works in diamond tier items. Okay, sure. Just Looking. Just Looking was that skill that increased your the fastest item. It was just kind of nerfed it a little bit. Yeah, if you have this skill, I think that was the one where it just increases your enemy's fastest item by X amount of seconds. So, pretty cool. And then they nerfed regenerative. Regenerative? I don't think that skill needed a nerf, but sure. Okay. Sure. All right, I'm going to take a drink and go on to the item changes, it looks like. All right. Common item changes. Crimson Orchid. Correct an issue with this item could target items that already had lifesteal. This is the loot item that changes when you sell it. Your leftmost item gains lifesteal, right? So I'm assuming there was a bug where if your leftmost item already had lifesteal, it wouldn't work, or it would just brick it or something. So, okay, good bug fix. I don't remember what this item is because it's fairly new. Collected translator. Sorry, I'm going to skip that one. Not sure. Hot Springs gains aquatic. Okay. Ice Watch Warden. Increase the freeze from half a second to 1 second. So this is the item that you can get from the temple event. Might be actually playable now. I feel like I never see this item. So it might be playable now. We'll have to see. This one I saw on the subreddit. Knee brace enjoyers were absolutely foaming in the mouth at this one. Back up to 100 health, max health gain at bronze, which is pretty cool. Might be worth playing again. I feel like at 50 it was fine. It was okay. I feel like they never should have nerfed it to begin with, but you might see it a lot more now, which is kind of cool. Always like knee brace. Lag Bolt. Adjusted the art for this item to better reflect its effects. Okay. Shadow Cloak. Corrected an issue where if this was shielded, it could go infinite with other items. Okay. Spark Plug. Adjusted the art to better... Okay, so they just... Lag Bolt. They must have changed the art. I can't remember what that... They look the same to me, but I'm sure there's a difference. Correcting an issue with this item. Radiant enchanting. Reducing haste instead of slow. Okay, sure. All right, so now we're into the specific changes for the characters, it looks like. So this is where the meat and potatoes of everything is going to be. So let's start with Dooley. Level up. Okay, so I did see this. So Dooley now has, when you hit level 11, you're given the 2 skill options, the 2 random skill options, or the unique Dooley skills, like everybody does at level 11. So the unique skills cater to the character that you're playing. All it does now is it still gives you those 3 options, but you now have an option to upgrade your core, which is awesome. I think that is a really good change, because the core upgrades are quite significant. I think, especially if you're playing solely around a core build. So pretty cool. Primal Energy, got a new icon. Primal Energy is the skill that increases your... it's something to do with a relic and dinosaur, right? I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, okay. Got a cool new icon, sure. Brick Buddy. Okay, so Brick Buddy just shielded 20 and then scaled 10, 20, 30, 40. Now shields 10, 20, 40, 80, depending on the tier. Wait, is this a buff to Brick Buddy? Scaling changed from 10, 20, 30, 40 to 10, 20, 40, 80. Wow, so it is slightly worse at base. Kind of the same at silver. Better at gold. Better at diamond. Okay, sure. And then Chlorins, I looked at this one because I actually played a Chlorins build. Yeah, similar scale. Oh, I guess it's matched the scaling of Brick Buddy. Okay, so Brick Buddy and Chlorins got a pretty decent buff, I would say. Yeah, the Chlorins was doing work, let me tell you. It might have just been the build I was playing, but I was quite impressed with Chlorins. I did have to go and see what they had changed, because, yeah, I wanted to see what the new thing was. Korra, gold tier. Alright, so still gold tier. 6-second cooldown. Buffed the poison. Multiply. Little better, I'd say. I feel like Korra was kind of on the weaker end. Never really felt like I'd seen much Korra play, to be honest with you. And I've never done a Korra build, so by the time you get to Korra, if you're playing poison, it's just, it kind of comes too late, you know what I mean? So maybe this buff will kind of help push it into the mid tier of items. Dually Scarf rework starts at gold tier. Gained when you freeze, haste adjacent items. Oh, so does it still? Okay, so it just says gained when you freeze, haste adjacent items 1 or 2 seconds. Does it still have the adjacent items are immune to freeze? I think that's what the other passive is on it. I'm assuming so. It just says gained. Flamethrower. I did notice they changed Flamethrower because I was considered building it on one of my runs. So it's now a flat 6-second cooldown, and then it's burn equal to 1 or 2 times the damage. Was burn equal to this item's damage. So it's just a middle of the pack change. I still think it's fine. I don't think this overly does anything amazing to it, but maybe you could argue that it's a buff because the 2 times damage is pretty good, but you lose a second on a diamond cooldown. So Keylogger. This is one of the newer items that I really haven't played with much. Crackling issue, it was doing 2, 3, 4 instead of the 10 to 2, 4, 6. Okay, good. Plasma Rifle. Just a buff to the damage. I feel like Plasma Rifle was fine. Yeah, but just a flat buff. All right, cool. Railgun, Multicast 2 from Multi 1. The Multicast quest is removed. Okay. I actually quite like Railgun. Pretty good. Rex Specs. Okay, every time this item makes my brain hurt, and I don't know why. Simplified this item and improved the scaling. Okay, Rex Specs enjoyers, have at it, dude. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use this item. Cutlery Forge. This item is clunky to use. This simplifies it. Okay, so, and again, apologies, Jules enjoyers, but I hate Jules. I just probably, like, I think I've played like 3 Jules games, and every time I'm just, I feel like an idiot when I play her. I don't know what I'm doing, so hopefully all these changes are fun for you guys. But this item is clunky to use. It's simplifies item while and still encouraging builds where it's designed for. Your items gain scaling damage and scaling burn when you use the tool burn 4. And when it's heated, this item's reduced cooldown by 2. Corkscrew. A very good item that goes a little nuts late game. Sure, I'll take your word for it. Tempo. Damage from 25 to damage to 25 to 50 from 20. Okay, sure. I don't know what this means. Cutting board. Simplify this item to better focused effects. 3-second cooldown. Charge adjacent food 1 second. From charge a food. Okay. When you use an adjacent item, your items gain scaling damage. Feast. A lot more burn and regen. A lot more scaling. Food truck. Support large that just isn't good enough. Silver tier. Cooldown increased. Haste your other items 1 second. For also just your other items haste from adjacent. When you haste a food, charge it 1 second. No change. Okay. Froyo cart? Froyo? This is mostly a large game situation, reducing the sorbet rate and keeping the animals viable, and encourages build diversity instead. Oh, that's the sorbet one. Okay, again, I don't play Jules, so. And then grill. When you use a food, burn 6/12 from 4, and just double the scaling. That seems like a big buff. That seems pretty good, but who knows. Karnak. Assault Sigil starts at gold tier and tripled its rage gain. Okay. Feel like that was pretty an unpopular item, so maybe. Bagpipes buff for gold and diamond. Okay. Still has the rage gain on it, I'm assuming. Heavy crossbow. Just changed the scaling and the damage. I don't know why it doesn't have the from here. I don't know what it used to be. Hunter's pack got touched a little bit, nerfed. Hunting rifle got basically halved. Okay, so it's definitely more of an early game item now. Right? 3-second cooldown. From 6 to, yeah. Infused arm reps got nerfed. Okay, I feel like this was needed. The arm reps were pretty strong, I would say. Yeah, so just kind of tune down the scaling on it a little bit. Lichen. I don't remember what this item does. When you're not enraged, your items have... While you are not enraged, your items have plus burn and poison. Replaces healing. Okay. Lost Blade. Flick like slow, half as long. Okay. So it's basically got flying. Sure. Runic Claymore. Thank goodness. I hate this item. I die to this item more often than not. So a little bit long. 1 second extra cooldown. Sure. Wild Bear. I feel like no one used this item. Max health gain. Okay. Wrist Blade cooldown. 2 second flat off the cooldown. Okay. Athenor. Simplify this item to focus on their board roll. No longer generates a catalyst with Surge Ray. Simplified this item to focus on their board roll. Okay, so doesn't generate a catalyst anymore, so it still just reloads adjacent items, and then when you use a potion burn, still upgrades a potion at the start of each day. Okay, kind of sad that it releases a catalyst, but sure. Black ice. When you freeze, increase. So the poison got nerfed. I feel like black ice was like either the most broken item in the game. Not really, but you know what I'm saying. Like it was really, really strong. Or like when you encountered it, it just didn't do much. So the fact that they're nerfing it makes me think that maybe it's stronger than. Maybe it was stronger than I thought it was. Blank slate nerf. I did notice. I'd have to look back at the patch notes, but I did notice that the few times that I did play blank slate, I was a little surprised at the damage output of blank slate. So maybe they increased it and this is just their way. Oh my gosh, my nose is so itchy. Their way of kind of toning it back a little bit. Book of Secrets now at silver tier. What? What? No. But my Staff of the Wise bills. That's a shame. I think Book of Secrets was such a cool, weird, quirky playstyle. To scale a bunch of skills and just smack him with staff. That makes me sad. This one makes me sad. Laboratory. Simplify this item to focus on their board roll. No longer generates a catalyst at the start of the day. Why are they taking all these catalysts away? Maybe because the retort and the calcinator scaling is no longer. How am I trying to say it? It scales regardless if you like when you upgrade the item. It's just, I don't know. So it's gonna be less catalyst generators. That's kind of, I don't know how I feel about that. Leeches. I hate this item. So it's now 7 seconds. Still has lifesteal. Scales damage based on the tier. And a little bit more scaling on gold and diamond. I still don't like this item personally, but library no longer affects enemy weapons. Really? So this is the item that increases all weapon. Well, it used to increase all weapon items by 1, and then your non-weapons by 1. The cooldowns, anyway. So just straight up nerfed. Okay. Palanquin starts at gold. I think gold tier is 30% crit because silver was 15. I could be wrong on the Palanquin. I'd have to double check that, but I think gold tier is 30% crit to all items. Refractor. Refractor I did get to play, but it was towards the end of my build and I was already kind of donezoed anyway. Pretty good buff, I would say, because it now includes haste, which it always tripped me. I'd always have to like triple read the Refractor anytime I would consider taking it because I have to get in my head that it didn't have haste, but now it has haste. So, yeah, I think I would argue that, yeah, I would say that's a buff. A little bit less scaling, but because the haste triggers are there, you have more chances to do it. I don't know. All right, Sky Terror gains the vehicle type. It is now silver tier. Change the damage scaling. Change the burn scaling. The above also applies to the scaling. I don't understand that line. Am I stupid? The above also applies to the scaling. Okay. Sure. So it's a little bit more playable earlier, I would say. Oh my gosh, my hair is annoying me. Okay. This one I did make a note of because I was going to play the strength potion and I noticed it was 2 seconds at silver. So they just took a second off the strength potion. Sure, I think that's fine. I think that's justified. Strength potion is really strong. Sword Cane. I really don't like this item either, but gains the relic type, does 30 damage, and then has 3. Okay, so it's a little bit stronger. Sure, I think it was kind of weak, so. Alright, Abacus from Pygmalion items. Silver tier, cooldown, 543. I don't remember what it did before, so apologies. I don't know why they don't have the previous ones. Quest requirements. Okay, Dog, I think, needed this. I think Dog was pretty weak. Again, I don't play a lot of Pygmalion, but I think the 45 was extraordinarily hard to do. You had to sacrifice a lot to get it to the last quest requirement. So sure. So dog enjoyers will be happy. Grindstone just doubled scaling. Feel like that was pretty weak too. So sure, we'll see how that plays out. Hammock bronze tier. It's just a flat 4 seconds now. Scaling. A little weaker early, stronger later. Sure, okay. And then Private Hot Springs, we already seen the aquatic. Thank God. Okay, I still think this is too strong. I think this needs to be 2 seconds, but this is warranted, I think, but I think it still could. I think it'd go down to 2 seconds, and it would still be playable for sure. Premium Piggles are now 4 seconds from 5. I thought they were 4 seconds, but the more you know. I don't remember them being 5 seconds. So. And Streaming Setup. I never see anyone use this item. Just giga buffed value. So. Still, emergency landing skill. When all your items are flying, when all of your items are flying, they all stop flying. Sounds pretty cool. Bunker Buster, or whatever this is called. Buster. Really? They nerfed this? I don't think I've seen anyone play this. Hang Glider, Silver tier. Damage from 50, 100 to 200. Oh. Oh boy. Damage scaling has changed from 35 to 70 to now 25, 50, 100. Simplify the scan to trigger all weapons. The flying conditional functionality did nothing as it makes your items fly anyway. So Hang Glider is definitely, and then the cooldown increased, kind of, because it now starts at Silver tier, so it just has 6 seconds at Silver tier. So you can just play this a little sooner. I actually like Hang Glider, so I might, yeah, I might have to play some Stell this season, see how she feels compared to when she was at launch. She got a bunch of new items, and then I got overwhelmed and was like, no, I'll learn at a different time, and then I never got around to it. Hydraulic Squeezer, -1 cooldown at all tiers. Just tell me what the cooldown was. Hydrogen Tank. Reverting this to the start of flight version to give Stell's late game a jump start. So this was if you had a vehicle. Yeah, if you have a vehicle. Oh, so it's right there. If you have a vehicle, use it at the start of each fight. And it was like haste adjacent items or something like that. And then if you destroy this, you burn 100 or something like that. Pretty cool. Ramming Balloon. I've never seen anyone use this item. This did not land quite right. Simplifying it slightly and improving the numbers should help. 4-second cooldown from 8. I don't even remember what this did. It had something to do with scaling shield or something. But looks a little bit more playable now. Relay Drone, gold tier. I came across this item on my last run. What did it do? It was like charge adjacent items 2 seconds or something like that. Or charge something adjacent, or haste adjacent items, maybe. Might have been haste. I can't remember. But it's now gold tier. Okay. Skyliner. Again, feel like I didn't see very many people play this one. Cooldown has widened and does a little bit more burn at diamond. Okay. A bit of an odd change, but I don't think that really makes a huge difference. Tethers. Flying stops. Really? Okay. So it stops more items flying itself. This is the item, like when your item stops flying, you shield, right? So it just stops itself more. Okay. And then toolbox. This is quality of life improvement as targeting right for this item made it unplayable for the number of destroy items. Now targets the item to the left. Huh? This is quality of life improvement as Oh, this is the toolbox. They're talking about the actual. No one ever uses toolbox on their board, so it took me a second to understand. Okay, so it now targets the item on the left for the actual like active effect. Okay, sure. Let's see. So they nerfed Loaded Fury, which was the scaling damage for each ammo on your items. Sure. All right, this change. How do I feel about this change? Damage, scaling, nerfed. Yeah, I think that's if what I read on the Reddit about holsters is correct, I think this is warranted. Barrel. 5 seconds. Very similar scaling for Brick Buddy then. And Clarence, the opposite effect of Clarence. Okay. So scaling shields. Barrel was pretty unplayable, I would say. This might make it worse playable. Cannonade. Wow, big buffed Cannonade. Also charges off burn item use. I feel like anytime I saw a Cannonade build, it was pretty good, so... Okay, and then Flagship nerfed. Okay, good. There was a lot of Vanessa's playing Flagship, which is great, but... Yeah, here we go. Yeah, okay, so Reddit was right. So the holsters are basically back to what they used to do, which was haste all items. Haste all small items at the start of the fight for however many seconds. Okay. Powder Keg got buffed. So just does flat 40 seconds at gold and then a little quicker at diamond. Sure. Rifle. Cooldown 2 seconds. Damage scaling halved. Sure. Okay. Scimitar of the Deep. Okay, so that's not scaling. For some reason I read that as scaling. Just has a little bit more flat damage as it scales up. Sure. Bit more poison on it too. Wetware. Wetware buff? Buffed gold and diamond, nerfed it. Well, is it really? Because it's got a little... okay, yeah. Little bit of a touch there. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna stop recording, kind of compound my thoughts a bit here, and yeah, we'll kind of go from there. All right, so all in all, a lot of changes. A little more than I was expecting, to be honest with you. The YouTube video that the Tempo team put out on their Facebook page, I don't get me wrong, I love the art, I love the music, I love the world building they're doing, but that video that they posted, it was about a 5-minute long video. Didn't really show too much about the Annexian invasion, so I was a little bit like, it left me kind of wanting more, you know? But these changes kind of seem okay for the most part. The catalyst changes for Mac, I think, is going to be a big one. Let me zoom this out a little bit now that we're kind of done with the video. Let's see. Scaling on Brick Buddy and Chlorance will be nice. Knee brace and jars will be happy. I think people are going to complain about holsters for Vanessa. I think they're going to regret putting that back, but we'll see. Arbalist was the biggest, kind of the biggest enjoyer of holsters back in the day, but now that the scaling is essentially half to diamond, it might be okay. And then lots of new scaling skills, so we'll kind of see how that shakes out. The new encounters are probably the highlight for me. This fairy one is really cool. The library one is good for burn builds. Apothecary gives a good defensive buff. And yeah, lots of new scaling skills, which would be kind of interesting. I think that's probably the biggest question mark for me, are these new scaling skills, how they'll end up kind of as the day goes on, how much they actually make an impact on your builds. But and then the new items seem fine. There doesn't seem to be any like game breaking ones. They're all kind of on the lower tier, I would say, of power, you know. Yeah, so that's kind of about it. I'm just going to wrap this video up now. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Like I said, if you have any tips, feedback, suggestions, anything like that, please let me know. Maybe the next time I do this, I could kind of have this in a more, organized, decisive format. But I just kind of wanted to get something up as a first kind of kickstart to this channel. Yeah, like I said, if you want to catch me on Twitch every now and again, it's over at twitch.tv/SkylarToon. That's all I got for you. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.